Assalamu alaikum viewers, I'm Zubia Irfan. Welcome to another episode of CxO Talk. As you know, it's a knowledge sharing platform for all the C-level across the Pakistan and around the globe. Every time we invite some interesting personalities in our show. Today we are honored to have Mr. Naeem Abbas with us. Mr. Naeem Abbas is an entrepreneur. He started his career back in 2012. He started his own SMC private limited company with the name of 24/7 Consultancy in 2021 with a vision to change the dynamics of the market by providing not only jobs for but a healthy environment where individuals grow exponentially. And within just 3 years, he has now more than 850 employees with 5 offices. MashaAllah. So let's meet and greet Mr. Naeem Abbas. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam. How are you, Zubia?
I'm good. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm good. First of all, thank you so much for such a great introduction. I really appreciate that. And I've always been the biggest advocate of CxO Global Forum to give the opportunity for all the entrepreneurs or people who actually want to do something for the people of Pakistan. So hats off to Kamal and everybody on the team. So you guys are doing a great
Thank
job.
you. Thank you. And thank you so much for sparing time from your busy schedule for this interview.
My pleasure.
So,
Right.
how has been your day so far?
Yeah, it's been no complaints. Days are like some days are good, some days are bad, but that's how an entrepreneur lives, right? So when you basically start your career as an employee, you think like once you get into your own business, at one point in life you will have a lot of you know free time. But it's the
Agreed.
totally different thing once you start step into the real world of being an entrepreneur. So it's a full-time job. So I want
Exactly.
to tell everybody who basically wants to get into this era of entrepreneurship, I think they should be ready for working more than what they do as an employee.
Very right. So, could you please give a brief introduction to our viewers about yourself and your role within your organization?
Sure. Yeah. So as everybody knows, my name is Naeem Abbas. I'm the owner and CEO for 24/7 Consultancy.
Right.
Uh, if I go into the background, so I was the first person in the medical
Mm-hmm.
billing industry that initiated uh, to set up a medical billing company with an idea of cold calling. Before me, I
Okay.
can proudly say nobody in Pakistan had the idea that they can sit in Pakistan, they can actually start calling doctors in the US and ask them to give their business. I've never been to US till today. I did not know anybody in the US. It was the idea that I will cold call doctors, and if someone needs our services, we
Right.
have ample resources available in Pakistan. Pakistan is a land of opportunities, right? So if
Yes.
anyone wants to work from offshore,
Mm-hmm.
we have immense talent available. And that idea lead me to the toughest part to go into startups. So I did my first startup in 2018. Started a
Right.
medical company with a partner. That went really well. I moved on to another startup that went well as well, and both the companies are still up and running. They're doing really good, mashallah. But due to certain commitments, you would say, I had
Mm-hmm.
to branch out, and I started 24/7 consultancy in
Right.
2021. In 2021, we were four people. I started the
Right.
company from a dining table. I bought four computers, and I started cold calling doctors again. And
Okay.
today, like within 3 years, we have five different offices in Rawalpindi. We have
Great.
850 employees currently working for us, and our new office, which is the fifth one, we recently opened last week, that
Right.
has ability to staff up to 370 more people. So collectively, we now should be 1,200 employees within next 3 months. And the
Okay.
idea and the goal of the company is to create at least 10,000 more jobs in the next 2 years.
Mashallah. Wonderful achievement.
Alhamdulillah. Yeah. So,
So,
and I always feel that if you make it easy for others, good things keep coming to you. So the idea when I started 24/7 consultancy was to change the dynamics of medical billing industry, because
great.
before 24/7 came into being, there were so many things that were not employee oriented. Because I myself used to be an
Mhm.
employee, and when I started thinking about setting up a business, I went into startups. But of course, in the startups, you are not the sole decision maker when you have partners. So 24/7 was
Exactly.
solely an SMC company. It was the idea that it'll be a single member company, so nobody can
Mhm.
question my decisions. And I could
Right.
decide the fate of the company. I could decide the fate of my employees. And if I want to do something for someone that is doing a good job, I should not be going, discussing, and seeking approvals. So that's why I wanted to be the sole owner. So if I want to do something for my people, I should not be having an excuse that, okay, others are not going to agree to it, right? That happened to me in my
Exactly.
career because every time I went to my bosses and asked them for a raise or asked them for a kind of growth, they said like we have
Mhm.
other stakeholders and we'll have to discuss and we'll have to see. But in my case, if I know that someone deserves something, I can straight away go ahead and make the decision. So I think,
Great.
and I think this is one of the biggest part of our success because we grew from 4 people to 850 people within 3 years because I could do whatever I want to, right? And my whole thing is that I should not stop anyone's growth because that's what I faced all my career in those 10, 12 years. I faced, there's a glass ceiling concept in Pakistan. Nobody wants you go above and beyond certain levels, right?
Right.
In 24/7 consultancy, we change that particular
Mhm.
scenario, change the dynamics of the market. Like our people
Mhm.
can be promoted from a junior position to a director level position or chief operating level position within 3 years. If you
Right.
compare other companies, that's not the case, right? We have like a lot of medical billing companies in Pakistan. We have like 4 to 5 big names with more than 500 employees.
Uh-huh.
But everywhere you would face a lot of problems. Your talent doesn't come
Exactly.
forward unless you have certain, you know, references or people don't trust, right?
Right.
To get people into the management. With me, it was totally different. I know if something is written in my fate will come to me. If I don't help people grow, that means I'm not helping myself grow, right? My idea is pretty simple. If the company is growing, the employees should be growing with the company. And that's how I can take or feel that we are a successful company. If our people are not growing, if their standard of living is not changing, there is no, there's nothing different that we are doing, right? Every company does the same thing, right? They want to excel, they want to increase their own bank balance,
Mhm. Mhm.
and
Mhm.
they don't care about employees come and go. Everybody feels like, even
Mhm.
I've got an interesting story. Like I always say that we are a family, right? And then I got a lot of arguments from people that no, your colleagues are not your family, right? So the people actually they don't like that idea that a lot of people complain that when an employer says that you're a family, they basically want to take advantage of you, but they fire you when you do a bad job, or they don't stand with you, or left alone when you have
Mhm.
bring into some tough situations. But in 24/7, I always try to be with my people. If they have any problem, anything that they're into, they find me with them because I think they're the part of my growth. And if they have problems, they're my problems. And the reason I started thinking this because when I had problems, like I remember I was getting married. So I went to my boss and I said, boss, my salary is something that I cannot go with if I get married. And now my expenses are increasing. And I remember those lines from my CEO. He said, Naeem, why do you think that all your expenses should be met by your company, by your employer? And I was like, what?
Okay.
If I'm working for you, right, and I'm doing every possible thing that is in my authority to
Mhm.
make it profitable, and if I want a little bit of a raise because my situation changed, I'm not
Mhm.
asking the company to do me a favor because I'm asking them for the favor I am returning to the company. They should pay me a little portion of that, right?
Right.
Nobody cared, and ultimately I had to resign. I left the job. I went jobless, and it was like 2017 when I left the job. It took me a year to get back to a job. I went jobless because I was holding a very top level management position. I had 3 offices, Karachi, Lahore, Islamabad, under
Okay.
me with more than 200 people. Now, when I left the company and I went for other interviews, people said you are overqualified for the job. So
Okay.
I passed that 1 year span of time where I had no job. So I went back into teaching. I started teaching. I started
Mhm.
call centers,
Right.
even, and everybody knows like I'm an open book, so I tell everything about myself because I want to know people that with struggles you can still be successful. So I remember in 2018, January, February, March 2018, I was teaching in a teaching in a coaching center for 4 hours. I was working in a call center for 6 hours, and then I was driving an auto rickshaw in Karachi streets for four
Okay.
hours.
Okay.
It was 2018, like just 4 or 5 years ago.
Right, right. So,
And then I got
mashallah.
an opportunity to work for a medical billing company. It was a company in Rawalpindi. They called me for the interview. They said, we have a
Okay.
position for a project manager if you're
Mm-hmm.
interested. So I
Mm-hmm.
negotiated my salary. I joined the company in 2018, April
Mm-hmm.
26. I remember
Right.
the date because when you go through hardships, you don't forget those times and dates. So
Exactly.
I
Exactly.
remember I had 4,000 rupees in my pocket. I came to Rawalpindi. I joined MTBC, is one of
Mm-hmm.
the medical billing company, one of the pioneers in Pakistan. So I joined them
Right.
as a project manager. I started working with them, and sooner I realized that it's again the glass ceiling. I won't be able to grow. I had a lot of
Right.
hopes and dreams because it's a multinational company, US based healthcare industry,
Mm-hmm.
NASDAQ listed.
Mm-hmm.
I have immense opportunities to grow. But again, I faced the same thing. I was forced to leave the organization. But this time when I was leaving, I decided I'll set up a billing company myself. And since I did not have money, so the plan was that I'll make a feasibility report. I'll go market my business idea and I'll fetch some investment from the market. And then whatever the profits we generate, we do 50-50. So that's how
Okay.
I developed the first medical billing company.
Right.
Then I developed the
Okay.
second one. There were two. I would take them as successful startups because those companies are still up and running, right? They have like 50 or 100 or 200 employees. But when I branched out from them and I started something on my own, now I can proudly say that it's something I built on my own, right?
Great. Great. So,
So
could you please share a bit about your educational background and what led you to choose this particular field of study?
yeah, so basically, I started my early education from Punjab. I was
Right.
born in a small village of Multan. So
Okay.
our region was Multan, our district was Lodra, and there was a very small primary school in our town. So I started learning ABCD from class six. I'm an Urdu medium
Okay.
guy, right?
Okay.
So I did my matric. In my matric, I remember we had like 9 students in the whole class. I
Mm-hmm.
passed out my matric and I decided to come to Karachi because my
Right.
brother used to live there, and he said that, Naeem, after you do your matric, I think our education system in Punjab is not that good, or from the particular area where I belong to. If you really want
Mm-hmm.
to do
Mm-hmm.
something, you have to do two things: learn computers and learn how to speak English. So I went to
Right.
Karachi in 2001 after completing my matric. I took
Mm-hmm.
admission in a language center called Domino English Learning Center, that's in Karachi. So I
Right.
started learning English over there, and then I took admission in a computer class to learn the basics of computers. And that was the first time when I started to feel that, okay, I can actually learn to speak English. I remember my first interview at the language center when uh, the interviewer asked me 3 questions. The first question was, what's your name? I said Naeem. The second question was, what's your qualification? I said matric. And the third question was, who told you about Domino? Because I was a language center. And honestly, I could not understand that third question. So I was like blank. I did not have answer because I couldn't understand the question. So they wrote on my form foundation. Foundation class was a language class where they
Right.
keep all the students who know nothing about English. So they'll teach you ABCD, they'll teach you ISMR, WOSWORD, the basics of English, and they'll try to help you speak so you get some confidence. And that's how I started my career. So when I tell all these stories to people who hear me, to the audience, because if a person like me can be an entrepreneur or be successful at this level, anybody can do it. It's all about the courage. It's all about facing the realities, right? We all come. Not everybody come from the best of the educational
Exactly.
background or best
Exactly.
of the era, or you don't always get best advices from people around you. So same thing happened to me, right? When I uh, did my matric, everybody wanted me to be a doctor in my family because that's how every Pakistani family thinks, that you should be a doctor. A child has to be a doctor or engineer, or he or she should do CSS so they get a government job, right? So same scenario
Right.
was with my family wanted me to do CSS after I did my
Mm-hmm.
BCom BA, but I never wanted to do a government job. I said no, I will not accept a government job, especially if there's some kickbacks involved or some bribery, I would never go for.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
I'll do something that I feel proud of, or something that I can have chances to grow. Because I've seen people in government jobs, they cannot grow to the level they could because there are certain
Hmm.
limits. So I always wanted to be free. I had to face a lot of pushbacks from my family. Even I remember my mother didn't talk to me for 3 months when I rejected a government job offer. And she said, "Naeem, you made a blunder. This is something, it was a lifetime opportunity." My brothers, they scolded me a lot, but I said, well, my time will come. And I'll continue to put my efforts. And here I am today.
Okay, okay. So, Mr. Naeem, what are some of the key accomplishments in your career that you are most proud of?
Well, I think the idea was to create jobs in Pakistan because the first boss that I started working with, he used to tell me, Naeem, we have to help create jobs in Pakistan. So when I started 24/7 consultancy, the whole idea was to create jobs in Pakistan. My initial idea was that we may be able to get 100 people to work, right? We got first 100 and it took us 6 months, right? In the next 6 months, we were 300. In the next 6 months, we were like 400 and then 800, right? So I think the biggest achievement is to become one of the top 10 medical billing companies in Pakistan within 3 years, right? So in Pakistan, if you yeah, the biggest achievement for myself, I would say, I when I started the company, I said I would try to become an employer of choice, because it's not like somebody needs a job and comes to work for you, but people have a lot of job opportunities, then they pick you as a company to work with. And I think that's what I've done in this little span of time. uh, I've got a lot of CVs coming from all those big companies, and they want to work with us. I think that is the biggest achievement so far that I have.
Great, great. So, what are the biggest challenges you have faced in your career, and how have you successfully overcome them?
I think the biggest challenge is people management. That's where we miss out, right? Because we've not been coached or trained on this particular part.
Hmm, exactly.
A lot of leaders, a lot of bosses, a lot of our friends, they own their own companies, and one thing that miss out on is people management, because they get information from others.
Hmm,
A lot of us rely on the information we get from outsiders. We do not communicate properly.
right.
So I think this is
Exactly.
one of the biggest challenge. And since it's in our blood, everybody doesn't want to disclose facts, right? If
Hmm.
someone says them something about that, okay, Naeem was telling me this about you. So they won't come to me and discuss that with me, but they'll start believing, right? The
Yes.
same thing happened as a boss. If someone comes to me and says, you know what, Naeem, this guy was doing this, and I think this is not in the favor of the company. So instead of me going and looking into that personally, I would make up my mind that this person is not good for the organization. So I think
Hmm.
this has been my biggest challenge. So I
Hmm.
encourage open door policies. Anybody can come to me, discuss scenarios, right? And the other thing is like, and in your career, when you are an employee, every employee has
Hmm.
a dream of sometime setting up his or her own business,
Ah,
right?
yes.
And I think the biggest challenge is to accept and admit that yes, every human
Hmm.
being wants to be successful. Everyone
Hmm.
wants to have certain dreams to come true for them, and as an employee, they cannot do it. We'll have to
Hmm.
respect,
Hmm.
right?
Very
I
right.
I mention all these things openly because I am not afraid of someone becoming my competitor, because I think my competition is with myself, right? So if any of my employee starts to think that he or she is ready to set up his own billing company, I become the first person to help it. And right now we got like 4 or 5 of our employees currently working with us, and at the same time, I've helped them start their own billing company as well.
Exactly.
So I
Very
think
well said.
this was the biggest challenge for me, to retain the talent. We
Hmm.
cannot retain talent because we become so what we call that, selfish, because we don't want others to grow. We want other people to keep helping us become richer and richer, right? If that is the case, we're going to miss out on every opportunity. We won't be able
Right.
to grow, right? I've seen companies
Hmm.
that started 2, 3, 4, 5 years earlier than I did. Even my two startups, other startups that I did, One of them has like 40, 50 people. The other one has 100, 150 people, 200 people. That's it, right? They're not growing because they're not letting people come forward. So when you have certain insecurities, things don't go well.
Right, right. So, how has leadership played a role in your success? And do you believe your leadership is having a positive impact on your team?
Absolutely. Right. Without the leadership qualities, it's impossible to come in that race, right? You have
Exactly,
to know what your people want from you, right?
exactly.
It's all about what they want. It's not that what you want, right?
Right,
Because once you start doing what they want, they
hmm.
will keep doing what you want. It's a byproduct,
Exactly.
right? Your success is the byproduct of your uh, colleagues being happy working with you, right? So when an employee is happy, like we are into a service industry, right? If our employees are happy, they make sure our clients are happy, and when the clients are happy, they get me more business. I'll
Exactly.
be the dumbest person on earth that if I stop taking care of my people and then I start thinking about myself. So I think leadership is very, very vital. We have to come forward, and without a leader, your company cannot grow. And we have a lot of instances. Like there are so many companies around us. They did very
Hmm.
good beginning, but then at one point they got into growth phase and then they started declining, right?
Yes.
Why? Because we don't come up to our words, our promises.
Mhm.
We don't keep our promises. We when we hire people, we want someone to become the part of the team. We do a lot of promises, but then when it comes to delivery, we don't,
Right.
right? And with time, we start getting other ideas like let's do another venture or invest something somewhere else, and you forget about investing on your people. And I think that is where the leadership role comes into place. Like if you have made some promises, I think that should be your top priority because that's how you're setting up your future. And if you want people to, stand with your words and help you become successful, you have to help them become successful first.
I totally agree with you.
We really do, right?
So it's time for some interesting questions now.
Uh-huh.
So, how do you manage to maintain a healthy work life balance? And what strategies do you use to achieve it?
So healthy work-life balance, like I am myself a sportsman,
Okay.
so I have a very frankly environment on the floor. We
Mm-hmm.
got three, four different cricket teams, right? Even we
Okay.
hire cricketers, right?
Right.
Just to make sure that if someone wants to take his or her interest forward and they don't have a fixed income, they can still be part of 24/7 consultancy and will hire you as a cricketer. And we've hired people, right? We're taken part in multiple tournaments in
Okay.
Rawalpindi, Islamabad. We've won a
Mm-hmm.
lot of tournaments. And last time I remember in 2022, when it was our first year,
Mm-hmm.
24/7 consultancy was a 1 year old company. There was a tournament for tape ball cricket in Islamabad. There were 32 IT companies. And we proudly can say that we won that tournament. And we defeated MTBC, which was one of the biggest and number one medical billing company in Pakistan. We defeated them in the final. Previously, they were the champions, right? And that company was 22 years old. We were just 1 year old. So with that
Wow.
commitment, because I was part of the team, I play with my people, I lead from the front. So I think that helps you create a work-life balance. Then we have even quota for singers, right? If you are a
Right.
good singer, we can hire you. You can work and enjoy your what do you call that, hobbies as well. We've got some greatest rubabis. They play very good rubab. We've got some really good
Mm-hmm.
dancers on the
Mm-hmm.
floor. We got like
Yeah.
Saraiki, Gilgit, Balochi, Pashto, all kind of people. And then we like, and even like at the time of anniversary, when we are going to
Mm-hmm.
celebrate our anniversary, like 3 months before that, we start different campaigns in the office. So if you come and visit our office before our anniversary, the office looks like a kind of uh, election commission where we have different kind of polls for our people like best manager, the most funniest guy on the floor, the most eligible bachelor on the floor, right? Miss World, like
Great.
these titles, and then people can vote, and then we have actual voting day where people can. We have the ballot paper. We print those ballot papers, and then the whole elections happen that day, and then whatever the results come at the day of our anniversary, we basically give them some kind of rewards or cash prizes and stuff like that, just to make it inclusive for everybody, and they actually feel at home. I've got birthday
Hmm.
parties, right? And since I call it a family, I remember my son's third birthday was celebrated on the floor. So instead of doing it with our, you know, nuclear family, I wanted to do it with the company. So we had gifts for all our employees. Instead of asking them to give us gifts, we gave gifts to our employees because they're our family.
Wonderful.
And then my idea is to basically make sure that everyone dreams are being come true with whatever help I can get into, right?
Right.
We started offering Umrah tickets to people because there are some religious people they want to go for Umrah. So last year we sent 12 people for Umrah. This year so far we've actually done the lucky draw for I think 30 plus people. They will be
Hmm.
coming to Umrah this year. And then at the fifth office opening ceremony, I made another announcement that now from this month onwards, every month we'll be giving 6 Umrah tickets to our employees,
Great.
just to
Great.
make sure that like people feel it at home, because if they see the company going forward, they would have certain expectations from the company as well. This has not been the case with other organizations I used to work for. There are some good organizations that they do well. Some are learning from my initiatives, right? So I was the first person in medical billing industry that started offering cars to employees. Now in Rawalpindi, Islamabad, Karachi, a lot of companies are offering cars. I can proudly say that I was the first one started giving it to them, right? I was the
Great.
first person that started offering uh, residential plots to employees.
Okay.
Nobody has done it so far, and I'm sure people will be giving it to them now, right?
Great. Great.
So even we have sent 2 families for Hajj as well last year, and then we are going to make it a habit that we send other families for Hajj as well. So I think these are some of the things that I believe that can help you create work-life balance, because there are certain dreams and achievements, or you want to do something for yourself or your family. Like for example, one of the guy came to me and I said like, I asked him that which car do you want, because he's been a very nice guy. So instead of he
Okay.
coming to me and asking me that I need a car, I went to him and I said, which car do you need?
Okay.
So, and I'm very proudly able to say that this guy said, "Sir, I don't need a car. I already have a car, but I want my parents to go for Hajj, and
Oh,
I want you to help me with that." And I said, "Okay, go ahead, do it." So we paid the money. Their name came in. They went for Hajj this year. They did a lot of prayers for 24/7 consultancy for everybody in 24/7 consultancy. I think that's all about the prayers. That's all about things we do for our people, and then they, you know, do those, you know.
wonderful. Wonderful. So, what advice would you give to young professionals who are just starting their careers?
Yes, I think one of the best thing for our youngster is to focus on the work, on the skills. Most of us basically would go and ask how much I'm going to get from that job, and then they start putting in their efforts at the level of the salary they get. I think that is where they are missing the point, right? So if you are
Hmm.
getting 30, 40, 50,000 or 100,000 rupees as a salary,
Hmm.
you make up your mind that at this salary, I think I should be doing this much.
Okay.
That is the kind of mentality. I think if you do more than what you get, there will be a time when Allah will start thinking about giving you more than what you deserve.
Exactly. Exactly.
So I think
So,
that is the advice, my advice for youngsters. Even when I interview people, when I talk to them, whenever I get an opportunity to talk to my teams to motivate them, I tell them, just make the habit of giving, because Allah likes a hand that keeps on giving, right? So when you make up your habit to help others, you make it easy for others, there is a divine help that will start coming to you. I
very
tell
well.
them that if I wanted 24/7 to grow to this level, I would have never been able to do it. I just wanted it to be easy for others, and things
Hmm.
become very easy for me. So it's just about giving, right?
Very right.
You basically have to deliver more than you
Hmm.
promised.
Exactly.
That's all.
So, in the end, I would like to ask. How do you think CXO Global Forum will impact your professional journey and the industry you are in?
See, CXO Global has been a greatest, uh, I would say, part of my journey because since I joined them, I was there at Karachi Governor House. I got that recognition. So a lot of people uh, saw that because I'm an open book, as I mentioned. So I market that on multiple forums, right? Before me, there was only, I think, one or two medical billing companies. They were part of GXO Global. When they saw me going that route, people started going that route too, right? And I
Right.
think a lot of individuals do not join these platforms. They don't get into these extra activities. I think this is good for their confidence, which is good for their industry, good
Hmm.
for their people because they get a lot of motivation. They get to speak and get to meet a lot of people. I think it's the greatest networking opportunity that CXO Global Forum has given to all of us. Though I'm not sure about the other professionals or other industries in medical billing industry. uh, I think CXO Global should do something where they can call all the medical billing companies together. They can
Okay.
meet and greet
Hmm.
and try to sort out their problems because right now it looks like that they're actually fighting against each other. Right? I think we grow together when we work with each other, for each other, rather than working
Exactly.
against each other. Because ultimately, the industry has to grow. The Pakistan healthcare industry should grow, right? We have immense growth opportunity. If a person like me that has never been to US and can create 850 jobs, the people who already have their US visas, investments, everything, a lot of friends, networking, if they can come together, we can wipe off all the unemployment from Pakistan.
Very
And
well
CX
said.
Global can help has helped a lot in that
Hmm.
regard, where they're bringing professionals together, right?
Right.
So I think that is something really good, and Kamal has done a great job because it's very difficult to get people come together. So
Exactly.
I think the whole team is doing an excellent work, and this is going to help not only me but everybody who has joined the platform or who are going to join the platform. I would encourage everybody to come become part of that because that will motivate the youngster. That will motivate all those
Hmm.
new startups, right? The people who want to do something because everybody is coming, sharing their stories. And this initiative of conducting interviews is also very important. Initially, I thought I should be just keeping it simple, not going a lot of details. But then I decided that I should be giving all the possible details because people who are willing to take a step forward, but then uh, they're reluctant, they're less confident about going for a startup. It's okay. Your first startup will go fail, no problem, but you will learn. Your second can go fail,
Exactly.
your third can go fail, but once you continue to consistently, constantly keep doing something, you will get what you deserve. So that's how it is.
Exactly. So, Mr. Naeem, we wish you more and more success in your life.
Thank you.
And thank you very much for this wonderful conversation. I hope viewers will learn a lot from this. And
I hope so.
thank you.
Thank you very much, Zubia. It's been really nice throughout since you started contacting. Initially, I was not available. I was traveling a lot, so I wasn't able to get in touch with you. But thank you for your patience. Thank you for giving your time and this opportunity. And thank you, CXO Global, and everybody on the team.
So, viewers, you're welcome. And so, viewers, this is it for today. And inshallah, see you again with some another amazing and exciting personality. Till then, take care. Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz. Thank you, everyone.